Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast hosted by myself, LaTerra Wair. Hello, friends. Hello. We're finally back. So last time I talked to you guys was like the second week of Christmas, and I totally intended to come back and close out, the year, the pod, all that kind of stuff. But life started lifing and Vlogmas started vlogmissing, and yeah, my schedule switched around for a little bit. Hopefully it'll switch around again. I'm sorry, I'm back now. Hi guys, happy 2026 to everybody. And this year we are talking about the new year, the new things we want to achieve. I came into this year and there feels like there's like a battery in my back, for lack of better words. I very much so feel as if I'm very fueled and ready for this upcoming year. I don't know what it is about it. I think I'm just very excited for new things, for new starts, all that kind of stuff. And maybe not new starts, because I feel like that's a little like cliche, but kind of just more consistency in the things that I've already been doing. I made a vision board. This is like my third vision board I think I've made. And because I made a vision board and because my last year's vision board turned out to kind of be a huge success, I really wanted to spend this episode just talking to you guys about newness, about manifesting, about taking your life back. Let's do some housekeeping real quick. The podcast is now going to start dropping at Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. instead of on Friday mornings. I feel like a Friday upload is very close to a Sunday upload, which is like the main weekly channel. And I feel like it just doesn't give a lot of time for exposure for the episodes the way that I upload them. The podcast will now be uploaded on Wednesdays instead of on Fridays. And the same weekly main channel video is going to go out every Sunday. This week it was a little late because your girl got tired and didn't want to edit. Anywho, when we talk about vision boarding, right? When I first heard about vision boarding, it was very much so just kind of like a thing that people were doing, and I really didn't understand the true purpose behind it. But like many other things, I was like, okay, let me just make a vision board and see. So I made my first ever vision board. I saw, and then I feel like I made the vision board with just like intention of making a vision board and like thinking about, oh, these are cool things that I want to do. So, whatever. I feel like last year I made a vision board, and with last year's vision board, I had a lot more intention with what I was doing. I had a lot more like purpose, I guess, behind it. And I really went through and I really picked out things I wanted on the vision board that made sense to me and that were actual things that I was targeting and actual things that I wanted to work on coming in this upcoming year. So that was my vision board that I made at the end of 2024 going into 2025. And if you guys wanted like more in-depth how I made the vision board, I did drop a video that I'll link up here. I believe it's going to be in this corner. I dropped a video about just making my vision board and just kind of like what I was doing to make the vision board that year. But simply I personally make mine by going on Pinterest, finding all the images that I want to make with them. And then I put them in a folder, and then I screenshot my images and then put them in a template on Canva and just print out all the images that I want personally. And then I do the cutting and the aligning them on the vision board. I know some people feel like vision boarding is just a bunch of hoopla as well. But for me, I think that the reason I do this, and it's something that my mom said to me when I purchased my house, and I didn't really think about it, but she told me that she thought it was very interesting that I was like vision boarding, because it's me setting my intention. It's me setting a reminder for myself of what I still want to do and things that I look forward to accomplishing. And I think she nailed that literally on the head, right? It's just a very easy way to sit there and collect all of your thoughts and to sit there and remind yourself about what is happening, what you intend to happen, and things that you still want to work towards. Last year on my vision board, there were some very interesting things, and I guess I could show y'all my vision board for last year. So give me 2 seconds. This is my 2024 going into 2025 vision board. As you guys can see, something that I did very newly this year or last year starting off, is that I put a picture of myself in the middle of it. And I feel like that just really grounds my intention into the universe to say that it's me who wants this, and all that kind of stuff. I am real big on manifesting things. I'm real big on setting your intention. I'm real big on like saying the things that you want and your desires out into the ether, because I do believe in like the law of attraction. I believe in people working for things for sure. An example of this would be like, if you're someone who wants to make money, right? Wants to make more money. You would be someone who keeps manifesting like, I want to make more money. I want to be successful. I want to do this. But you also are actively looking for jobs. You're also actively trying to put yourself in a position to be like in a better place financially. And the more you work towards something, and if you set your intention, it will come to you, and you will, you know, see your opportunities that are presented. That's how I personally believe manifesting works. And this is basically my intention that I'm putting out into the ether, which would be my vision boarding. And what I'm doing is trying to set myself up. I'm trying to network, trying to meet more people, trying to work on my skills, develop things to put me in a better position to be where I need to be. Some of the things in vision boarding, just because you put it down doesn't mean it's going to happen exactly the way you want it to happen. And I think that's something that is very important. An example of this would be in my vision board. I put a bunch of moving boxes, and I put a studio, and then PR packages. So what I meant by that was I had full intentions to move into an apartment last year. I thought that I needed to get back into a stable way of learning how to be by myself and how to pay for things myself, to the ultimate goal of becoming to purchase a home. With everything set up the way it was set up and the way that I was preparing, I actually just was able to skip past the whole apartment step, save a year's worth of money I'm just, throwing away or whatever, and then move into my home. That's one of the examples of it's not working out exactly the way I thought, but I did have the intention behind what I wanted to do. And once I got into my home, I now have an office that does not resemble exactly this office, but it resembles for me the vibes and everything that I thought that I wanted. So in a way, I manifested what I want. I set my intention for what I want, and then I worked towards putting myself in a position to be able to do these things, and I now have these things. So that's something that I crossed off my vision board. When it comes to the packages that I put on there, I really had the intention to work really hard on content this year, or work harder than I had been, so that brands would reach out, so that I would have collaboration opportunities, and so that I can start growing myself as a creator, as a business owner in that way. And that is something that I did this year. I was able to work with some brands and was able to get like codes and products and all this kind of stuff. And that is something that was very cool for me to see, because it's something that my intention was set to do that. I don't believe too much in sharing like all of my vision board of a current year and speak. I think I've talked to you guys about this. I just don't necessarily believe in sharing all of my goals and wishes and ambitions with everyone. Not necessarily the people who support me, but I do understand that just like there are people who support you, there are people who do not support you and do not have the best intentions for you because of what you want to do with your life. And so because of that, can't share every single one of my my things that I put on my vision board for this year, but there are some similar things. There are things that I want to do. For instance, like I really want to work on the health of my hair. That's one of the things that's on my 2026 vision board. Hopefully that comes true. I think last year, that's something that I said I really wanted to work on. And I had the best hair year of my life. So just things like that are super, super important. I think vision boarding is something that's very key, very helpful, especially going into New Year's. It's for me, I think vision boarding is like the New Year's resolutions, because I don't really subscribe to New Year's resolutions. I've said that a lot of times. I don't think that you necessarily have to wait for the new year to start doing things. And I think that if you make something just a resolution, it kind of turns into one of those, well, like I said I was going to do this year, so I did this year. And then like, there's no consistency. There's no like follow through moving forward. So I just feel like it's a interesting mindset to have. I think it's definitely cool to have goals and stuff going into the new year, but I wouldn't say to make it a resolution, because I also think you can start something any day, any point in time. You really just got to get up and want to start doing that. Speaking of the new year though, guys, I think that this is going to be a very good year. In saying that, I know that people sometimes believe that if you say that things are a good year, people fall into this trap thinking that nothing bad could ever come out of the year. And realistically, that's just not how life works, right? So I think that this is going to be a good year in the sense of everything that I want, I will have. I'm speaking that into existence right now. I'm speaking that into existence with you guys. And I think that you should do the same. Tell yourself that anything you want this year and you work for, you will achieve. Anything that you put good intention behind can be yours. I really want to work this year myself personally on the stopping of analysis paralysis. This is something that I heard about the other day, and it's just kind of like when you're constantly thinking about something and then you never do it. Right? Because you're always like planning. I think that I fell into that loop when it came to me putting out content last year for things like little series I wanted to do, like barista series and things like my home update series. And I like prepared so many things and overlays and all this kind of stuff. And I went back 2 days ago when I decided to finally start just putting out the content, and none of that stuff I had been working on to prep for is there. I don't know where it went. I may have deleted it. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know anything. And so basically I just did all that for nothing, and I wasted all that time for nothing. My best advice to anybody for any goal that you have in this upcoming year is to just start working on it. Just start doing it. You're only wasting time not. Right. And that's me talking to myself as well. I'm only wasting time trying to sit here and prepare everything and do everything, because in all this time I'm using to prepare, it's time that I could have been using putting content out. That's something that I'm going to work on really bad this year, is just putting the content out. It does well. It does what I want it to do. And that's just that. I really started revamping like my channel, revamping the things, really like I really want to be a content girl, right? Like I think that I spoke in my YouTube video that I posted this week about like getting my pink back. And I speak about this a lot, but I go through these phases of burnout, right? Like of content burnout, where I'm just like, I can't do this no more, right? And I just sit there and I'm just like, bro, I cannot do this. I can't do this. I'm so tired. I'm putting out all this content. It's not getting the feedback I want, and this, and this. But then I have to tell myself that repetition takes time. And when I say repetition takes time, in order to be good at something, you have to repeat it. You have to continue to do it, continue to build on that skill. And that takes time. There are things that you're going to put out and they're not going to perform the way you want them to. There are things that you're going to put out and you're going to be shocked at the way that they perform, right? No matter whether it performs well or no matter whether it performs terribly, the skills that you get from putting this content out to help you build on that base, that is what's important. That is the key takeaway. And when I was doing Vlogmas very specifically, I felt like there's so many skills that I completely forgot that I had. There are things I forgot that I knew: how to storyboard, how to sound effect, how to make different transitions and all this kind of stuff. And I really, really saw myself, like, for the first time. It felt like I was like having this out of body experience and like looking down on myself. And I was like, dang, girl, I see you. It made me want to push forward. It made me want to really work and advance the skills that I have, because like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, why would you not? I will not let my analysis paralysis defeat me this year. this season. I cannot do it. For me in 2026, I just want so much. I want to travel again this year. I want to have new experiences. I want to work with new brands. I want to gather new skills. I want to grow my audience. Like all these things I want so much in this year. I think that the best thing about wanting all these things is like, I just got to depend on myself. For real. Every goal that I believe that I have set for myself that is set this year can be achieved based off my merit and based off my work ethic. And I'm really finna show myself what it is. That's kind of what it feels like. In the most humbling way, no one is coming to save you. You have to come and save yourself. You have to do it for yourself. You have to be your own hero if you want to achieve the things that you want to achieve, and that is the best course of action. That is something that I tell myself on a regular. And no diss to anybody that I love, no whatever. I have one of the most amazing support systems around me. I love everybody who is in my support system. I love the daily talks that I have with my friends, with my family. And they are some of the most supportive people. You guys are some of the most supportive people I've ever met. Y'all met me on a virtual screen and we made a village. We made this thing, this pocket of the internet that's super cool. But in all of that, I need to understand that no one is coming to save me. Anything that I really want, all of my goals are on me. And I personally like that's one of the best mindsets that I could have. I think people too often fall into this thing of like, well, my life is dependent on this person and that person, that person. No, your life is dependent on you, right? Your life should be dependent on you. And if it's not, you should work to a place where your life can depend on you. And when I say that, I mean like, if you're in a bad situation, no matter what that bad situation may be in, there comes a point, in the nicest way I can put this, there comes a point where you were in the situation still because you want to be. There are so many times where people like just kind of sit in these areas that suck. And it's because it's easier. It's a lot easier to sit somewhere where you're familiar and sit somewhere where you're just kind of like, well, I guess this kind of works for what I'm doing right now, instead of having to do the hard thing, having to maybe pick up another job, having to maybe like give up some of your times going to hang out with your friends so that you can work on your craft, so that you can develop your skills. Everything that you're doing comes down to choices. I'm not saying like 100% of the time everybody in the world can help what they're doing, but a smooth 90%, I truly believe, and these are all my opinions, I truly do believe a lot of people do things out of comfort, and that is where a lot of fallacy falls. So sorry to say that, but the same way I'm telling you guys this, it's the same thing I think for my exact self. So don't ever think I'm telling you something that I don't think for myself. Like I told you guys, Wair, one point in my life, I don't want it bad enough. And he was right. I didn't want it bad enough. I understand that in order to get where I want to be, it's on me. It's literally on me. I have to work. I have to grind. I have to be this person that I believe that I can be. And that's it. The year of 2026, I challenge you guys, just like I'm challenging myself, to work hard, to really put your dreams ahead of your comfortability this year, and to really challenge yourself to grow as a person, to grow as a partner, as a friend, as an individual, as like internally, you know, to grow yourself, to be this better person, to be the person of yourself who you want to be in the end. We talked about this last episode. Who do you want to be? Really think about that. And this year, I feel like you can do that. I feel like I can do that. I know that I can do that. And that is something that I will do. I am putting all my cards on me. I'm betting on myself, and I'm going to work to ensure that this bet works out for me. And I think y'all should do that too. Here's to us achieving all our dreams and goals in the year of 2026, guys. because even if you don't achieve them all step by step, because I know I'm talking real big right now, but like, even if you don't achieve everything bar for bar, take the steps, make the progress, because eventually you will get there. Things are about building blocks. Things are about growing yourself, and it's important. It's super, super important. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so moving forward into your delusional statement. Your delusional statement is instant gratification is everything. This one for me, it's not. Instant gratification is not everything, because just as fast as you get something is as fast as it can potentially go away. But I do believe that in the moment, instant gratification feels like everything. Too often as people. Something that I think has come up also quite often with conversations between my boyfriend and I is that I think that too often people base everything off of their feelings. And that's a very human thing to do, but I think that's often very childish. Personally, and this may be hot. I get that this may be hot, but I think that it is very childish to think that your feelings supersede everything. I'm a very emotional person. I like to think. Deep down, I get upset about things. I cry about things. I feel a lot of ways about a lot of things. But outwardly, I have to understand that I am a grown woman. I am a grown adult in this world. And my feelings cannot be the thing that just guide me everywhere. Because if that was the case, there's no point in learning anything, I personally think. You learn skills to be able to use them. So when people are instantly gratified by things, those are very feeling-based things. Let's say, for instance, you've been saving up money, right? And you've been saving and saving and saving, and all this time you've been saving this money so that you could buy this new video game. In that moment of you buying the video game, you will be instantly gratified, but that type of instant gratification is going to last a lot longer because you went through the process of saving this money. And now you know that you now have the money for something and you can just enjoy the thing. Versus if, let's say, you just got paid and half of your $1,000 that you got paid, you just spent on this video game. You're going to have a lot of instant gratification, but because you had no extra money and you just immediately spent this money on a game, you're now thinking about stress because you're stressed out thinking about the stuff that you had responsibilities to for this money. But in that moment, you were super happy. But that feeling is fleeting. That feeling will fade. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that instant gratification, it's very feeling based for me. It's very feeling based. And I think that us as people, we need to work on our feelings a little bit. We need to work on just trying to do things based solely off emotions, because I personally don't think you should do everything based solely off your emotion. Even though it's a very human-like thing to do, I think that's a part of evolution of us as people, and learning to understand that sometimes you have to do things that hurt your feelings. Like realistically, sometimes you have to make the harder choice, and that's not a good feeling. But in the long run, that is the best feeling for your life. You know what I mean? It'll be better off in the end. And that could just be me being someone who believes in playing a long game. I don't know. But yeah. So what do you guys think? Do you think that instant gratification like supersedes everything else? Or do you think instant gratification is the best feeling? Or how do you personally feel about that concept? But moving forward into our What We Watching, my favorite segment. Speaking about what we watching, guys, I have made a Letterboxd account. If you don't know what Letterboxd is, it's really just a way for people to watch film, watch cinema, whatever. And then you just talk about it, discuss it. You can write reviews, give your ratings, all that kind of stuff. So you guys go follow me there. I usually only say one thing that I've watched here, but I'm also in the process of, I want to watch like a new movie at least once a week. So this will be updated weekly, right? But the latest new movie that I've watched is Ma Rainey's Black Box. My boyfriend told me that this was the last movie that Chadwick Boseman made before he passed away. It is a very interesting film. I think that if you've never seen this movie, it's definitely something to go watch. It is it's a time heavy music piece, if that's your kind of jam. I believe this is also like a biopic. I don't know if the story that's told in it is an actual story and the characters are just real, or if the entirety of the situation is completely real. I'm not sure, but I think that it was done very, very well. The character choice was amazing. The casting, this casting ate. I think that the story was very long-winded in a way, but it gives very play-esque, kind of like there's really two scenes and people are swapping chairs in and out and swapping sets. Like it gives very much so written like that's been adapted for a movie screen. The character that Mr. Boseman plays, he's not my favorite. He's not my favorite at all. I think that it's a very beautiful thing, though, in one of your last roles to play a very unlikable character. I think it speaks very highly on Mr. Boseman's legacy as a person. Viola Davis, this was a good movie for her. I feel as though like it wasn't anything special, in my opinion. The better story about this, I believe, is with the musicians, and as they kind of like walk around and tell their tales and tell their stories. That's one of the movies that I watched recently. The ending of the movie had me super shocked. It had me I literally gasped at the end of the movie, audibly out loud gasped. It was interesting for sure. If you haven't seen it, it's a quick, I think like hour 30 watch. It feels a little longer than an hour 30. When I saw that it was an hour 30, I was a little shocked because I was like, oh, this felt like a little long, but that's what I'm saying. It's kind of slow. It feels a little drug out. If you've ever seen Fences, it kind of has that type of aura to it. I think they were made around similar times, not like actually produced, but like the time scheme wise. That was the movie I watched. I think it was a very interesting story. The outfit choices, the casting, the coloring of the movie was very good. The story, in my opinion, could have used like a little more oomph, I guess, but it's just a story of a story. I think I rated it a solid like a 4 stars on Letterboxd, and I think I'll stick with that rating. It's a pretty decently done well movie for what it is. That's what I've been watching, our first What We Watching of the year. And with all that being said, guys, this is wrapping up our first episode of the 2026 year. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If you are an audio listener, thank you for listening to the podcast. Please be sure to rate the podcast on whatever streaming platform you're listening to this on. If you are one of our viewers, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the podcast. And please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more weekly episodes of the Your Delusional podcast. If you are interested in knowing more about behind the scenes or more about the film production company, you can follow it online at LT Legacy Productions on Instagram and on Facebook. And if you want to know more about me, what I be doing, when I be up to outside of this, you can follow me on X, Facebook, and Instagram at the LaTerra Wair, and you can also subscribe to the channel that the podcast is on for more weekly uploads just about life, vlogs, hair, all that kind of stuff. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast, and Happy New Year, everyone. The Your Delusional podcast is produced by LT Legacy Productions and hosted by LaTerra Wair.